the Hmong triumphed over many tragedies throughout this challenging chapter of their history. No matter what obstacles they faced, the Hmong overcame them to become the free people they are today. Communist soldiers hated the Hmong for fighting against them, so they destroyed Hmong villages, leaving the migrant farmers with two tragic choices: stay and fight to death in their mountains, or flee their homeland in order to survive.
It has all come back to me very painfully. It now bothers me a great deal how we just packed up and left those people. We knew that they were going to suffer. Daryl Wickham, Vietnam War veteran.
A refugee is someone who seeks a safe place during a time of war. After U.S. troops were withdrawn from Southeast Asia, over half the Hmong population fled from Laos and resettled into the refugee camps of Thailand.
When someone talks about Ban Vinai, they must talk about the Hmong. When someone talks about the Hmong, they must talk about Ban Vinai. Yu Peng Shang, former Ban Vinai refugee.
Located 15 miles from the Mekong River and about 640 kilometers from Bangkok, it had 760 acres of territory, which contained 9 centers and 32 quarters. The camp was intended to hold about 12,000 refugees. However, there were over 42,000 residents at its peak in the mid-1980s. 90% of these refugees were Hmong. The Hmong fled to Thailand in 3 waves from 1975 to 1986. The first wave of Hmong refugees were sent to the Nong Khai refugee camp and later transferred to Ban Vinai. The early years were such a tragedy for the refugees of Ban Vinai.
When my uncle moved into Ban Vinai, there was little medicine and food. He got sick and died in the camp.
Most of my children passed away. 2 died in Laos and the rest died in Ban Vinai.
Refugees went to cookhouses to receive their ration of food. There was little to go around, so many refugees died due to starvation and malnutrition. With few houses and so many refugees, finding privacy was almost impossible. Families shared homes during this time, since there weren't any supplies for homes to be built.
So many were crowded into a small room. At first, we were put into a building with other families. Only a bamboo and grass curtain separated one family from another. Tsau, former Ban Vinai refugee.
The initial trickle of 1,600 Hmong refugees from the first wave were followed by a torrent of thousands more.
People have asked me why I decided to volunteer to work in an Indo-Chinese refugee camp. I suppose that at one time or another, almost everybody's ancestors were refugees, but mine were refugees in the more recent past. And so, perhaps, my emotional connections with refugees today are more immediate. Mace Goldfarb, volunteer from the American Refugee Committee.
When the second wave of Hmong refugees arrived in Ban Vinai, volunteer organizations from all over the world were helping the refugees to improve the camp's condition. Trucks from the United Nations regularly delivered food to families. Long lines of refugees waited patiently as they received their share of food. Families no longer had to share buildings with other families. Hmong refugees started rebuilding with what they had, just like their ancestors had done not so long ago.
I'm happy that there were people in Thailand who helped us with so many things, such as food, housing, and everything else. They even helped us medically and helped us learn about other countries before going there. This is what I'm most happy about.
The third wave of Hmong refugees arrived between 1982 and 1986, but Ban Vinai had already reached maximum capacity and was closed to all incoming refugees on May of 1983. The number of refugees were overwhelming, and no one foresaw the high birth rate within the camp. Although the camp had a lot of support from the western side of the world, volunteer organizations were slowly declining. The Hmong now had three choices: go back to Laos and live under communism, become Thai citizens, or emigrate to other countries. As families filed into large buses, one tragic thought was on everyone's mind. When will we ever get to see each other again? The treacherous journey to the refugee camp took the lives of so many Hmong, but a majority found their way to what they believe would be safety and freedom. However, the early years of Ban Vinai proved to be tragic because of the horrific condition of the camp. But with the help of others, the Hmong triumphed again by improving the camp's living conditions. Like a phoenix, the Hmong were reborn from their ashes and created a place to call home. When they heard the tragic news that Ban Vinai was going to close, they ended up being triumphant by scattering throughout the world. Tragically, the Hmong are a people without a country, but they will continue to survive no matter what they face. The Hmong's pursuit to find freedom began in Ban Vinai, and even if they have no country, their search for freedom continues into countries all over the world. Today, the sun never sets in the Hmong world, because wherever the sun shines, it's shining on the Hmong, and that is truly being free.